time at this part of Super Sentence Snacking we come together to hear the nation's story, I am reminded of the wonderful effort, the collaborative approach, and just the collegiality of all the children around the world who have made such efforts. Thank you to teachers and key workers, mums, dads and cats who've all helped to make this a wonderful, truly team approach. We've been writing today for the film Feast, and you've all chosen your chunks, and I've chosen the winners today who have made it to the roll call. So who are our top 9 writers for today? Well, writing chunk 1 is Eve Malady, she's 10 years old. Thank you Allegra Powell Pyers, who wrote chunk 2, and she's 9 years old. At chunk 3 we've got Jasmine Ariana, and she's 13 years old, and it's lovely to have a 13-year-old who's made it into our submission. Darcy Sohan, writing chunk 4, she's 10. Winnie Gledhill, she's writing chunk 5, she's 6 years old. Thank you, Winnie. Hafsa, you've wrote chunk 8, thank you, you're 9 years old. Tabitha, you've written chunk 7, you're 10 years old. Lola Welsh, thank you, chunk 8, you're 7 years old. And finally, thank you for our ending, Oliver Webdale, you are 8 years old. So now, let's listen to our story, Feast. It was dark. Pup was small and alone, and the toxic smell of the passing cars tingled his nose and stung his eyes. The buildings towered over him, and as he walked further into the darkness, the smell changed. As if by magic, an appealing, appetising and satisfying salty snack appeared right in front of his face. Strangely, after eating the chip, Pup now found himself in a house with a collar around his neck saying, Winston. Dad plonked a bowl next to Winston and poured dog food into it. And when Winston tried it, he went crazy. It was the most scrumptious thing he had ever eaten. The next bowl was even taller than the other. Oh, this was the best moment ever for Winston. It was like he had fallen into a dream. A food dream. It was food heaven. Pup was so used to feasting on delectable, scrumptious and luscious food that when Dad fell in love with this new, elegant woman, Pup forgot what it was like to be eating the same boring and mundane foods, just like he was when he was living on the streets. It was almost as though Dad's perception of everything had changed. It was as if he had been bewitched by this sly sorceress. The smells of stunning and flavoursome food had disappeared, and as quickly as a cheetah, he had lost its prey. Although he hated Dad's new lover, he knew that she made him cheerful. Pup noticed how Dad's teeth began to sparkle every time Mum came in and made him smile, and he knew deep down that all he wanted was to see Dad happy. It was hard to accept the adjustments, but Pup was willing to make changes to his fiendish behaviour. He would do this. He would do it for his amazing dad. Pup's bowl used to be teeming with eggs and bacon, and it used to make Pup's jaw drop with amazement. But now things were changing. They were really changing. Dad opened the fridge, and now the fridge had different food in it. The good food had come back. He scooped the sticky strawberry ice cream out of the tub, and Winston jumped up to the table. That's wonderful. The smell of ice cream tempted him as he gobbled it up, while Winston ate thunderously and the lightning crashed. But they were now back together. Things had certainly changed. But Dad wasn't eating. Out of the corner of his eye, Winston spotted a green leaf. He perhaps knew now what had upset Dad. Winston could smell the aroma of spaghetti and mouth-watering meatballs. However, his excitement soon turned to disappointment. How was he going to help Dad? He nudged Dad so he could wake him up, and Winston grabbed the herb and sprinted away like a race car. Winston raced down to the restaurant. He knew he had to do something dramatic. He leapt heroically onto the windowsill and bounded out of the blinds. He headed around the corners and through the constricted alleyways, and even though gardens were full up, he knew exactly where Dad's beloved girlfriend worked. As he made his way through the restaurant, he dodged determinedly the busy chefs and waitresses, and all of a sudden, a sizzling string of sausages leaped out of the pan and stood deliciously in front of Winston, enticing him. The waft of its heartwarming smell overwhelmed him, but with the struggle, he resisted and he ran on. He bolted under the tables, escaped under the chairs, past all of the food, and he sought Dad's girlfriend out as if it was an intense game of hide and seek. He had found her, and he was able to bring them back together. This was a wonderful moment. It was a special moment. They got married, and Winston was witness to it all. And then something changed. He was awoken by a small, squelchy meatball bouncing and rolling towards him, leaving a trail of tomato sauce behind him like a snail. It smelt delicious, succulent, and so he lapped it up. But his eyes were drawn to another meatball and another, rolling across the floor. He followed the trail of sauce, and there he discovered a towering green chair and a spaghetti face peering over the side. He was not impressed with this mucky intruder, and the little hand catapulted another saucy meatball down towards him. It spun mid-air, making the spaghetti strings whip around like a sheriff's lasso until it tumbled into Winston's wide mouth. Wow, what a juicy meatball! This baby was going to be Winston's friend, and time after time he provided delicious feasts. They made friends, Winston and the baby, and they had parties, they had friends. Mum and Dad got involved, and everybody had fun. They celebrated with tons and tons of birthday cupcakes. Thank you everybody for taking part. What a fun-filled, fabulous story of food, drenched in taste and smells. You've done a fabulous job today. I'm letting you know that tomorrow is going to be a little bit different. I can see that across the nation, you now all understand that the film is going to be chunked into 9 precious pieces. You're all getting into the swing of this, so we are going to be able to run super sentence stacking into 2 sessions. What we're going to do is merge chunking and demonstration writing, and we're going to do all of that at 9:45. That is the best place to do it. It means you can do PE with Joe, and you can go and find your pencil and pen and piece of paper, and you're ready to go at 9:45. I'll let you know the film in advance. Tomorrow's film is going to be called Lucky Dip. It's a gorgeous film by the British Film Institute, and it's set in the UK seaside. I'm going to upload that film and a link to it so you know what you're going to do. I'm going to see you tomorrow for Super Sentence Stackers, and I need you to subscribe onto the YouTube channel and tune in tomorrow at 9:45. Thank you everybody, you've been brilliant.